All right, today we're gonna go check out this pretty cool waterfall here in the Dayton area. And I thought, what a better way to celebrate coming in on 200 subs than a little trip and a lesson on how to pack your backpack. So the pioneers in Ohio relied on these rivers to have their mills and whatnot along. And so you see towns popping up all through Ohio from like the 1830s, 40s, and so on along these rivers. This one's a perfect example. There used to be flour mills on the banks of the river. It's an interesting time though, because eventually we switched to fossil fuels or gas power under the surface, and that became the thing that all Ohioans wanted to use. But these still provided hydroelectric power for the nearby cities once Dayton Power and Light put a generator down. So this area we're at is Greenville Falls, and behind me you'll see the gate and the turbine and generator set up to create power for these areas, and I think they were built around the 1920s. And what happened is they take the water from above the falls, feed it through, and then this big concrete gate, I guess, or sluice gate or whatever it's called behind me, the water would feed through there and then drop down in through the turbines and generators and create power for the surrounding areas. Great, look, you can see the old wooden dam over there that kept the water high enough.
See where those posts are going up in the...
There's another machinery.
Yeah, so what they used to do there is they take that big wheel right there, and then down below, you see that down there? Down below, they'd take that big wheel right there, and they would turn it, and it would raise a gate down underneath, and then it would let all the water flow into there. That's called a sluice gate. And so then it would go hit those turbines that are up that we just visited. And then it would create electricity. Is that pretty cool?
Yeah, but the gate's not there anymore.
Nope, the gate has eroded. That's correct. Pretty neat though, huh?
Yeah, there used to be a little path that way, the old way on the dirt.
Checked out the waterfall and the power station. I think it's time to head back home, and let's talk a little bit about how to pack your bag. All right, so I got my notes here, so hopefully I'm better about not saying every 5 minutes like I, well, tend to do. One of the things I like about going to a park like Greenville Falls is you can really see how the environment has shaped history, or rather how man has used the environment to his advantage. I really like that sort of thing. It's just the nerd in me. So one of the things that's a little bit overlooked, I feel like, when we have people packing their bags or first-time backpackers, is actually the order that you pack your bag does matter. And I think my rule of thumb when I'm deciding to do this is I pack everything in the reverse order that I'll need it. Sounds simple, but it's not quite that simple. I'll give you an example. Is maybe I won't need my extra clothes at all throughout the day. So I usually pack them first, so those are at the very bottom of my bag. That sort of idea is where I'm headed with this. So things I know I won't need later, thus they go in first. My extra clothes, it's always the first thing I pack. Then my sleeping bag, pad, and pillow go in. I also like to put my cooking stuff, like my pots, my stove, my food, my fuel, basically my bear bag, all those sorts of things, that goes on top of my sleeping bag, pad, and pillow. So after I put my cooking stuff in, I always keep out my meal I plan on eating for that day, and maybe the snack that I'll use throughout that day. I keep that separate and I put it in the top of my bag. That way it's easy to access anytime we stop. Then after that, I'll put my water filter in an exterior pocket or at the very, very top. throughout the day you will need your water filter if you stop to fill up with water. So it's easy to just pop out, fill up with water, put it back, in, out. Don't have to unpack anything except for that water filter. The last thing you want is to get caught in a rainstorm and not have your rain gear easily accessible. It's probably the piece of gear that you'll hopefully use the least, and therefore some people might put it at the bottom of their bag. But the last thing you want is a storm to pop up and not have your rain gear. So my rain gear always goes at the very top, or one of the first things I could grab out of my bag if I need it. Usually my knife, my saw, some of those miscellaneous things go into a smaller pocket. So like on my bag, I have one pocket on the very, very front of my bag. That's where I put those things. It's better for more skinny or like longer items. Fits in perfect. And then my water bottles, they go in, they're one of the last things I put in. I put them on the exterior so my bag's already packed, and then I'm just pushing them down inside the mesh holders on the side. And don't forget your toilet paper. You might need that throughout the day. So that goes at the very top. I usually put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I put it in the waterproof container on top of my bag. So my bag has a built-in waterproof cap, I guess, to it. And so I keep anything I don't want to get wet in there. It could also be like some of the electronics or type of things that I bring along, or camera stuff. But specifically, that toilet paper goes in there because I do not want wet toilet paper when I'm out there. A little specific about that, but hey, we all have our things. And then the very last thing I usually put on is my tent. I think this has worked best for me when I put my tent on last, is I'll put it underneath and I'll strap it. It's an exterior thing. If the tent gets wet, it's not really that big of a deal because tents can dry out, or at least the interior is safe and dry. So that's not that big of a problem. And I'll put one like disclaimer here, is that everybody's backpacking bag is slightly different. You may not have specific pockets that I do in specific areas, so the exact way I pack my things aren't going to work. But just remember, pack things in the reverse order that you'll need them. If you follow that rule, you'll be fine. So that's the basics, or how I pack my bag. It's an overlooked thing for some people, especially the more experienced you are. You almost do it second nature. So I think the family, or at least me and my wife, are going to go out. I'm not really sure what we're going to do. She's thrown out some ideas. So I'll bring the camera along and we'll just throw some footage in there of that, and you'll find out what we're doing at the same time I will. Let's go do it. So it's 65 degrees out. It's beautiful. Just 4 days ago it was probably 28, snowing, windy, rainy, terrible. But we have to get outside today. So let's go check it out. Well, change of plans. See how wet everything is? Yep. We are going to just go walk the bike path. So I guess this is where we're going to leave this video off and call this the end of the video. So until next time, Saturday for Co-op. Thanks for stopping in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, maybe the like if you're feeling up for it, and see you in the next video. Man, Lauren really wanted to look good for this hike. She busted out the party pants, the pleather tights. Woo. It's gonna get the views up for sure. Hot mama. Can I get you in a bikini?
No.
Where are we going?
Honey Walnut Creek.
Where?
Honey Creek something.